Is drinking raw milk safe like RFK Jr. suggests? Can you reduce a glucose spike if you eat your food in, quote-unquote, the right order? I'm registered dietitian Abby Sharp. I host a nutrition myth-busting podcast called Bite Back with Abby Sharp, and those are just some of the questions I tackle with qualified experts on my show. There is so much food misinformation and disinformation out there, and it can feel impossible to know what's real and what's BS. On Bite Back, my goal is to help listeners create a pleasurable relationship with food, their body, and themselves, which in my opinion is the fundamental secret to good health. Listen to Bite Back wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Wednesday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
Today is a special day here on the Brock and Dalby Show because it marks the 3-year anniversary since Andrew, or as we call him, Champ Stamp, decided to get our faces tattooed on his lower backside.
I mean, only because he didn't want to be called Tramp Stamp Andrew. We had to come up with something a little bit more flattering.
So the story goes, we talked about some kid who got some Ottawa Senators players' face tattooed on. We were like, that's a ridiculous idea. You should never do that. Andrew hit us up. He's like, I'll get your faces tattooed on you. And 3 years later, he still has it. So we've got the man on the phone. We like to chat with him every year just to see how things are going. How are you doing, Champ Stamp?
I'm doing fantastic. What about you guys?
Oh, we're doing great. We're not sure if you realize or not, but today marks the 3-year anniversary of the beautiful tattoo that you got of us.
That is friggin' wild.
Happy anniversary, buddy.
Woohoo, yeah, happy anniversary, boys.
So we figure, we check in with you every year. How are we feeling about the Champ Stamp tattoo?
Still the same as I did the first day. I love it. No regrets at all.
I, honest to God, keep waiting for the time when we, say something you don't like or something. You're just like, I'm done with this show and get it blacked out or something.
Never. It'll never happen, boys. Never.
Now, I got to ask, having the tattoo for 3 years now, what are some of the reactions you get when people see it?
I'm going to keep it like a little bit, what's it called, PG here. But yeah, some of them are pretty funny, but some of them they don't understand why I have 2 dudes on the back.
Well,
that's a tough one to explain.
I think I'm in that category too, and I'm one of the dudes, so.
Yeah. But no, a lot of people like it. They laugh and they ask. Some of them actually, they're like, "Oh, you're Champ Stamp." I'm like, "That is who I am."
Oh, you got some street cred out of it, eh?
Yes, I do.
I mean, we get free advertisement out of it, so it's kind of a win-win situation for everyone, it seems like.
For sure. Oh, yeah. And I can just get it to show off a bad-ass tattoo.
Literally a bad-ass tattoo.
Exactly. There you go.
Actually, now that I'm thinking of it, Brock mentioned, the free advertising for us. Have you gotten anything out of the deal from anybody? Has anybody ever bought you a beer? Have you ever used our faces to win a bet?
No, actually, I haven't. I'm going to start that, actually.
I just feel like someone's going to buy you a beer, right?
Oh, I bet you if I see one of you guys, you will.
You know what? Never mind. Don't worry about it, man.
Now, you remember our agreement, right? You keep your shirt on if you're doing any crazy shenanigans, okay?
Oh, of course.
If there's something you don't want the law to see, we don't want them to see us.
Fair enough. That's the deal.
Well, appreciate you keeping us on your back.
Thanks for having my back.
Here's to another year of us being far closer than anyone could have predicted.
Heck yeah, boys.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Man, tough loss for the Oilers last night, 5-1. They couldn't get anything together, really, it seemed like.
We've talked about this before, about how, if your team gets beat by the team that goes on to win the Stanley Cup, you've said that there's no real solace. Some people would. As a matter of fact, I saw today Leafs fans on the internet are bragging that they statistically did the best out of all the teams that Florida played in this playoff
I don't
series.
like that at all. No, watching Florida win last night, I wasn't like, hey, at least we took them to 7 games.
We're the second place team. Yeah, we did it.
Yeah.
No, that wasn't you.
It's like losing in a fight and being like, oh, I didn't get knocked out, though.
So, I mean, that's true.
I didn't
though.
get knocked out, though. I might have tapped, but I didn't get knocked out.
Everybody else got knocked out, but
Yeah,
I was still standing when it was all said and done.
No, I hate that so much.
What do you think about for Oiler fans who are saying that, well, at least they ripped the Band-Aid off? Like, it wasn't a close game. Like, they didn't take it to the limit. They weren't in it at the end.
I don't think there's really any like positive outlook you can have on it. I mean,
There's no good way to lose.
the positive outlook last year was like, hey, you got there. Then this year
Right.
you got back. Then you lost again. It's really just kind of like, damn, dude.
The NHL's own Buffalo Bills.
And I know a lot of Canadians are bummed because, you know, we haven't had the cup here since 93. I guess some good news is that there are 8 guys from the Florida Panthers that are Canadians, so it will be back in our country 8 times this summer. So.
Before it goes back to the Hall of Fame, it'll get to go on tour to 8 Canadian
There's
cities.
only 4 Americans on the Florida Panthers, so it's still a Canada win if you think about it.
Yeah, 8-4. There you go. Yeah, listen, we're okay with the Europeans. Unless you're Don Cherry, you're okay with European players.
Yeah.
So, and there's still lots to be proud of for Team Canada. I mean, even for the Olympics next year, we've already announced the first 6 players on our Olympic team. We're going to put Sidney Crosby and Connor McDavid on the same team, wearing a maple leaf, so that's something to be proud of.
Yeah, and Canadians can still be proud that we have fries supreme at Taco Bell and the United States doesn't.
Did they not have fries
They
supreme?
did not. That's a Canadian thing, man.
Damn, we have fries supreme and poutine?
We may have not won a Stanley Cup in our country since 1993, but we have something that they will never have. And then it's fries supreme at Taco Bell, guys.
Our fry game is internationally goated. So, I mean, if you're not proud of your Canadian hockey teams, you can at least be proud of that.
We have one better way to get diarrhea than they ever will.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
What is something Canadians can still be proud of right now?
Well, we don't. We have butter tarts. They don't.
It's such a short and simple sentence, but it's absolutely true. Butter tarts are next level.
Absolutely. Canadians, we've got the best pastry in the world.
They can suck on our tarts.
Other than that, I have no idea. So,
Hey, butter tarts and legal weed, man. Think about it like that.
That's right.
yep.
Go
At
together
least we
like
can win
hand
at
in
that.
glove. Water.
Someone did bring up a good point right now that, I mean, I know neither of us pay attention to basketball, but Canada is slowly taking over basketball, especially right now in the finals. I think there's 4 or 5 Canadians for the first time in the NBA finals right now. That Shai Gilgeous-Alexander guy is the hottest player in basketball.
That's like you said, we're not big basketball guys, but my Sportsnet app is very quick to remind me on a regular basis that a Canadian is kind of crushing it.
Majority of the country was behind the Oilers winning the Stanley Cup. The whole country needs to be behind the Oklahoma City Thunder to win the NBA Finals.
Big Oklahoma supporters.
The U.S. thinks they took hockey from us by having the Florida Panthers win the Stanley Cup.
That's right.
If this Gilgeous-Alexander kid pulls it off, basketball is back where it was created in Canada.
That's right. Peach baskets for everybody. We're all Thunder buddies for the rest of the NBA playoffs.
We're taking it back, dude.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
It is Wednesday, which means it's time to censor out our artist of the week, which is Tom Petty. And it really changes up the tone of a lot of his songs. Like if you do this one here. Not a good lay, apparently.
Well, you don't know that. You don't know how
I don't know how it feels. That's
Maybe
right.
it's the best.
That's right. The song Refugee really changes the tone if you put some censors in it.
I'm not familiar with that stereotype, but I am curious.
A little bit darker there.
Yeah.
One of my favorite songs is You Wreck Me by Tom Petty.
Oh, God. Damn, Tom.
Sometimes I wonder, like, when I censor out these songs, it's like, is that actually what they were going for?
Right, yeah. Have you just stumbled across the actual
Feels
meaning?
like it just fits too well, right?
Well, doesn't fit that well. It splits him in two.
The waiting is the hardest part, or is it? When you're in high school, it feels like it is.
I mean, the good news is if it's not the hardest part, they make pills for that sort of thing now.
My favorite one, though, has to be Free Falling. This just, chef's kiss. Chef's kiss worked out perfectly.
She's a good girl.
No.
Loves Jesus in America too. She's a good girl. She's crazy about Elvis. Horses.
Not the horses.
And her
boyfriend too.
She don't love Jesus. She needs Jesus.
That's the kind of video that the cops show up to your house for.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
You know, we've talked a few times before about the Sydney Sweeney bathwater thing. Well, now you can get Ozzy Osbourne inside of you.
Excuse me?
Liquid Death,
Hang on.
you know, the canned water company.
Oh, yeah.
They are now selling limited edition Liquid Death cans with Ozzy Osbourne's DNA. Apparently, they gave him iced tea, and he's taken sips of some of these cans, and then they've resealed them.
Oh, what? First of all, you're just selling me less beverage, so right off the bat, I'm not happy. Second of all, why am I sharing an iced tea with Ozzy Osbourne?
Nothing says refreshing like sipping on the genetic essence of a man who once bit the head of a bat off stage.
Can we stop dressing it up and just say it's backwash?
Yeah.
He's just backwashing.
That's not as marketable, you know?
People aren't as excited about that.
Honestly, I love Ozzy as much as the next guy, but it's probably one of the last people I'd want to share my drink with.
Well, I mean, like, also, isn't he, like, famously ill these days? Like, is it healthy for him to be sharing
Lord knows
drinks?
where that mouth's been too, man.
Over the course of this man has had an amazing life and career, but he has been places.
Yeah, I mean, it's Ozzy Osbourne and Tommy Lee are the last people I ever want to share a drink with. I mean, to be honest, any rock star from the 80s, if I was like trapped on an island with a bottle of water, I'm not giving them sips.
Honestly, imagine sharing a bottle of Dasani with Gene Simmons and just being like, when he passes it back to you, go, no, actually, I'm good.
Yeah.
I think I'll pass on that.
I don't even want to know what's in there, man.
Let's share a beer with Andrew WK. That sounds like lots of fun.
I know maybe this is like a rude thing to say, but even if you found out your partner had like hooked up with Ozzy or Tommy Lee or something like that.
Any of those like famous rock stars.
Just knowing that their DNA was anywhere close near the person that you love would be a little bit tainted, you know?
The thing is I think there are two distinct camps on this. I think you're right. I think there are a large number of people that found out if their significant other had been with Tommy Lee would be immediately like, oh, hey, let's just back off for a second here. But I also think that there's a large number of dudes who'd be like, hell yeah, same team as Tommy Lee.
I don't need to try and get a Liquid Death can. I've already got his Liquid Death.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We got a lot of text coming in here at 762-555. Of course, Diddy, R. Kelly being some big answers in there. Charlie Sheen as well.
Yeah, to find out that at some point your significant other was on the Tiger Blood would probably be a real bummer. Also in the same vein, I saw someone texted Macho Man Randy Savage. And to be fair, if your partner was was with a pro wrestler in the 80s or 90s, there's just none of it's good.
Yeah.
None of it is good.
Just the image of Macho Man over top of your gal, like, ooh, yeah.
Turns out she just loves tassels. That's the biggest thing.
Someone texted in and said, what celebrity would you be stoked to find out hooked up with your partner? And I don't know if there is one.
No, like you wouldn't, like, say you found out that Courtney had been with Doug Gilmour at some point. Isn't that one of your favorite Leaf players?
Sure, I mean...
She maybe hooked up with Wendell during a stint at some point. I don't know. She's not quite old enough.
That would make the memorabilia in my house like a lot more awkward, you know? To be like, you remember him?
Is there any Leafs player that could make that is that?
I don't know,
or
man.
would that still make it awkward to watch the game?
I feel like it would make it more awkward where like you'd be like, damn, this guy. Like not only does he screw my team over on a regular basis, but like,
what about if you go the other way of someone like to find out they were with somebody like really, really attractive, like Chris Hemsworth at some point was considered one of the most attractive people on the planet during the Thor era.
Sure.
What if you found out that at some point you and your significant other, had hooked up with a superhero, a literal superhero?
And then what does that mean for you? That they settled?
I mean, if you choose to think about it like that,
I get what you're saying. Like, it could be an honor where it's like, hey, like, she went from the creme de la creme to this. But, I mean, even the way I just said it.
I was going to say, you're still looking at it the wrong way. You got to look at yourself as being on par with that person.
I guess, yeah.
I'm a literal superhero now.
I'd start thinking, I'd be like, what did you do wrong?
What brought you back down to here?
How did you drop Thor's hammer like that and end up with this?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Describe him to me!
It's Bad Song Descriptions on Win Stuff with Brock and Dalby.
I don't get it.
All right, we've got $100 in Lotto 649 tickets for tonight's jackpot on the line. Dalby's got a bad song description. If you can figure it out, you got to tell us the song and the band. You'll get the tickets.
Don't forget, $32 million gold ball jackpot up for grabs tonight. $1 million guaranteed prize if nobody wins the gold ball. And a classic $5 million jackpot also up for grabs with Lotto 649.
All right, we've got 3 callers on the line. If they all fail, we'll keep going until someone gets it right. We start with line 1 here. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
It's Chris.
All right, Chris, here's how it works. I give you the description, you tell me the name of the song, and you tell us the artist or band that performs it. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, Chris, it's a song about a big soup guy.
Big soup guy.
Just a big soup guy.
You know, I have no idea.
It's not a great song description,
All
but
right,
thanks for playing.
We move on here. Caller number 2, what's your name?
My name's Brian.
Brian, song about a big soup guy. What are you thinking?
Would it be The Offspring, Want You Bad?
Interesting connection.
I don't get that
I'm not 100% sure, but no, that is not a song about a big soup guy.
All right, we keep going. Caller number 3, what's your name?
Leslie.
Leslie, you sound confused. Do you know about a song about a big soup guy?
I'm so friggin' confused. Blind Melon?
I mean, that's a band. But it is not Blind Melon. No,
all right,
sorry.
that's 3 stumped. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
It's Mark.
Mark, song about a big soup guy.
Sharp Dressed Man, Easy Talk.
Big soup.
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 Not suit.
Oh, soup.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
All right, let's go to 5. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Hey, it's Chris.
Hey, Chris, big soup guy. A song about a big soup guy. What do you think it is?
Big soup guy.
Yeah.
Nothing?
Soup is good food.
No, that's not it. Sorry.
Don't overthink it.
It honestly is such an easy
Don't
one.
overthink the soup thing too hard. Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Hi, it's Miranda.
Hi, Miranda. You know what a song about a big soup guy would be?
I just have a random guess. Is it Spoon Man by Soundgarden?
Hey!
Friggin' rights it is. Because what do you use to eat soup?
A spoon.
A spoon.
Spoon Man loves soup. For sure he does.
Congratulations. You get the ding, the round of applause, and $100 in Lotto 649 tickets. And also, you get to know that you're smarter than everyone else.
That's right.
Only on this topic. Everything else, I'm very dumb.
She's a big soup gal, apparently.
Yeah, Miranda loves that soup.
Roll them in soup.
If you do happen to win the jackpot tonight, got some nickels and dimes for the fellas, or at least drop off some soup?
Sure, Campbell's for everyone.
I was just going to say, we're going name brand soups, baby.
I need an endorsement
The
deal.
Brock and Dalby Podcast.
All right. Harold and Kumar is getting another movie. Apparently, they're making a comeback. There's been no information on what it's going to be about. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what would a new Harold and Kumar movie be? Because, I mean, the whole first one is they're stoners.
Right.
They're trying to get some food. The next ones, they end up in Guantanamo Bay. They did a weird Christmas special. Like, now they're in their, mid-40s?
Well, that's just it. Yeah, John Cho and I believe it's John Cho and Cal Penn they're grown men now. Like, they are full grown with families and stuff like that. So it's kind of like you almost have to play that angle because it would be weird to still try and play them off as like 20-something stoners. You know what I mean?
I feel like one of the plot points is going to be that one of them is getting a divorce and that they haven't hung out in a long time and then they blaze it up, whatever.
You know what would be really interesting if it turned out that Kumar was the one who kind of like had his life together, like Cal Penn had his life together, and John Cho was still a bit of a mess. I think that would be a fun take on the whole thing.
Or it goes real sad and it's Harold and Kumar go to rehab.
Watch as your two favorite stoners go through all 12 steps.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast. Would you rather Wednesday? Would you rather Wednesday?
All right, let's get weird. 762-555. First one here says, would you rather live on a boat or in a treehouse?
I feel like boat. Just for the freedom of like you'd get used to living on the water after a while, I feel like. And then you could go places.
Well, also, I mean, it's a lot cooler to be like, hey, babe, do you want to come back to my boat than it is? You want to come back to my treehouse?
Here, hang on. Let me throw the rope ladder down so you can come up.
Where's the treehouse? Do you own the land? Are you still living with your parents? Or
can I skip the dishes to my treehouse? Can I be like, yeah, here's the address. Go around back, climb up the oak. That's me.
Someone said, would you rather be stranded Bear Grylls style in the Arctic or the desert?
Well, I mean, if I have to drink my pee, I guess I'd want to do it somewhere where it's colder, like the Arctic. I feel like...
Do you want to freeze or do you want to overheat, I guess, is the question.
That's the thing, is like, if I have all of the tools necessary to survive, I feel like it's easier in the desert than it is in the north. I don't know. I think both would be pretty terrible.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the best thing with the Arctic is you just like bundle up like you do here like crazy and just hope for the best.
Actually, I guess now that I'm saying this out loud, I am the palest people most people know. I'm not going to the desert. I'm not making it out of there.
You're going to be so sweaty and stinky.
I would be so burned.
The chafing on top of that.
I have to go to the Arctic. I have to go home.
Would you rather have to clean your kid's iPad with your tongue or lick a toilet seat?
Oh, iPad. iPad for sure.
I don't know, man. I see some kids' fingers.
Toilet seat, sir. A toilet seat. Disgusting.
If it's my toilet seat, if I get to pick, I'm picking my toilet seat over your kid's iPad.
I mean, you should always lick your own toilet seat over another kid's iPad, but I make my kids wash their hands.
Ugh.
Meanwhile, I cannot necessarily control the aim of an 8-year-old, if you know what I'm saying.
Just seeing like everything that kids do with their hands, and then like you ever look at your kid's iPad before and you're just like, how did this get caked up like this?
I just think the same thing when I look at my kids.
Yeah.
How did you end up like this?
Someone said, would you rather be Corey Perry and continuously lose in the Stanley Cup Finals, or would you rather be a player that never makes it to the finals?
I feel like I would rather be Corey Perry. Obviously, heartbreaking to lose 5 out of 6 of the last 6 Stanley Cups, but also you command a pretty penny in your salary of being like, I am part of 5 out of 6 Stanley Cup final teams.
Yeah.
You would make a lot of money doing that.
I will say, I think a guy like PK Subban probably has a better time like sleeping at night knowing that, like, I mean, I guess he made it to a Stanley Cup Finals and lost, so that's a bad example. But any sort of player
I know what you're saying,
that's never been there before is kind of like, I had my ride, I had my fun in the sun. I'll never know what that's like, but to get so close, it's like being left at the altar on your wedding day, you know?
Although I will say, if we're using the analogy of your being Corey Perry, he did win one.
Yeah.
He's been chasing the dragon ever since, but at least he does
I think that's the worst part about Corey Perry is he won when he was like 18 years old, and now he's like 40, and it's like...
Most guys never get to win one, though. Like, even just having one in your belt would make it easier to be back there 5 more times.
Yeah, but then you almost feel like, was it a fluke? Like, did I deserve it?
Well, yeah, there's that.
You start wondering stuff like that, right? All right, final one here. It says, would you rather receive an alert every time that your parents hook up, or they receive an alert every time that you get a hookup?
Well, I mean, it's going to be awkward either way. I would rather the awkwardness be on them.
Mm-hmm.
Although I suppose it depends on how old and amorous your parents are. You know what I mean?
I think that makes it grosser.
No, but what I'm saying is if they're really into it, that's terrible. You do not want constant reminders. But I'm saying, like, there are some couples that have just been together for so long that at their age, they're like, it's just too complicated to divorce. Maybe your parents aren't doing it anymore. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then you're like, well, I'm getting an alert on my dad's birthday every year. Oh, no. Well, I guess not my dad. I don't know what he's up to.
It'd be great to know that your dad's still kicking around.
Tough way to find out I might have a sibling.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Ed's word of the day.
Let's see what he's got.
Good morning. Today's word is quandary. Yep, quandary. 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 And it's a state of perplexity or doubt. I normally get like that once a day, I think. At least. But anyways, that just about does it. Have a great one. Cheers, you're up.
Quandary.
Yeah, it's basically you're either very confused or you're in a very difficult situation. Like, for example, if you were standing in an LCBO today and you were trying to figure out if you were going to go with the rum or the whiskey for the trip to the cabin this weekend, you could find yourself in a bit of a quandary to try and decide which one you wanted.
Or like, when you go golfing with your buddy and you finish playing 18 and you promised the missus that you were going to go directly home after, but then your buddy's like, hey, what if we get another 9 in? That's a real quandary.
That's a real quandary because you have some obligations, but you've already put some time in out here or already here.
Even when you grab a pint after work and your buddy's like, one more. It's a real quandary where you're like, should I?
It probably shouldn't be a quandary, but we find ourselves too often in these quandaries.
Sometimes you even have a quandary where you're like, is that going to be a fart or is that going to be something else, you know?
That's a quandary that almost never ends well.
Yeah. Quandary. Use it wherever you can, all right?
Want to be a part of the podcast?
Leave a message on the Bad Line.
The Bad Line is the answering machine for the Brock and Dalby Show.
To get the number, text the word BAD to 762-555.
Thanks for listening to the Brock and Dalby Podcast.